If you guys check out your written response and you look, I have four different things in the rubric. There's one for each question. So you're supposed to pick two of the questions, and as you answer them, I'm looking to see that you demonstrate higher level thinking, which we've talked about in class, about your character, and you provide an example from your reading that relates to that topic. I want to show you a couple examples of ones that did really well on this. Okay, so one of the choices that Katniss had to make from the book Mockingjay was whether to save Finnick and risk the whole squad, including herself, getting killed, or let Snow's mutt eat them. So that was one of the hard choices that they had to make. This person still hasn't shown me thinking yet. But here it says on page 312 and 313, Katniss thinks. Far below, I can just make out Finnick struggling to hang on as three mutts tear at him. Then it's over. All right, now this person's going to show me their thinking. They provided an example that related to the answer of their question, and then now they're ready to tell me about their thinking. This quote shows that she was watching it happen and was thinking about how going down and saving him, he had done so much for her. Finnick saved Peeta in the arena, saved Katniss from the arena, helped the rebellion, and even helped her get over her grief about losing Peeta to the Capitol in the beginning. Gosh, that's so many great examples that support their thinking. That had to be very hard for her to see the person that she owed so much to and was good friends with sacrifice himself for her. Do you see how that person demonstrated higher level thinking? They told me their thoughts. It didn't say in the book, gosh, this is very hard for me to see the person that I owe losing so much. This was their thoughts. This person got full points on answering that question. Then they did it again on their second question. It says, my least favorite character in the story has to be President Coin because she sent the parachute bombs down to the Pin of Children. That is what killed Prim, Katniss's sister. She also killed many of her own medics, her own people that she ruled, innocent citizens of the capital, and innocent children. This is a lot of examples of what made this such a terrible character. Coin almost killed Katniss and gave her the burden of whether to kill Peeta or not. She doesn't care if there are casualties. All right. So first they give me all of their examples to answer why this person is their least favorite. And then they explain their thinking. It says she doesn't care that there are casualties. It doesn't say that in the book. This is their inference. This is their thoughts. She also gave the victors the choice to restart the Hunger Games back up, but instead of it with the children from the districts, they would be from the capital's population. That would give them payback for what they had to let happen for the past 75 years. But the people who lived in the capital had no choice. They didn't know what was really happening in the districts. Coin wanted them to suffer, just as they did when they couldn't have done anything about it anyways. Here's another great thought. It doesn't say in the book, I'm President Coin and I want you to suffer. This person's reading the text and telling me what they think about President Coin based on what they are reading. All she ever wanted was to rule the remaining people of Panem. Here's a quote from the text. On page 361, it says, did Coin do it? Hoping that losing Prim would push me completely over the edge? This quote from the story shows just how much she didn't care about the people. So they go back and find an exact example from the book and keep talking about how that relates to their answer to their question. She may have killed Katniss's sister on purpose, just to get her to completely follow her rule. The hovercrafts that dropped the parachutes looked like they were from the capital. Coin did that on purpose to get people to follow her, because all she wants is to rule over the remaining country. This is a choice that Katniss had to make about saving Finnick and how Coin is my least favorite character in Mockingjay. What a nice little conclusion. They didn't put what numbers of the questions they answered, but I already could tell based on the way that they answered it and even at their little conclusion. It's so easy to see which ones were their questions. All right, let's look at another example because length doesn't really matter. Here's another well-written written response. It's not quite as long, okay, but it was well done. Arushia moved to a new school and has always wanted to fit in. I believe Aru means to be like other kids so that she will get attention from the other kids. The other kids get to go on other fancy trips and she doesn't. I always believe that you need to stay true to you. All right, so this person started with their thoughts. Then they give me an example. So at Augustus Day School, whenever the other students asked, Aru told fake tales about her mom. And this is the only way she had fit in. Then they tell me the answer to their question. I learned that you should just be yourself and not someone else. If I could give Aru a she or Aru a Shay some advice, it would be to be a leader and not a follower. She can't get caught lying, and then you will feel really embarrassed, and no one will want to be friends with you if you lie all the time. So this person's already going into their second question. So their first one is here, and it has their thoughts and an example and what they learned. And then the second one is the advice they're going to give them. If I could give her advice, it would be to be a leader and not a follower. These are very related. These were two excellent choices because they relate to each other. She can get caught lying, and then you will feel really embarrassed, and no one will want to be friends with you if you lie all the time. That's a quote from the text. But Aru had ruined everything the day she was caught sneaking from the carpool line. Ariel had asked which car was hers. Aru pointed at one, and Ariel's smile turned thin. Ariel said, "That's funny, because that is my driver's car." Then the person makes a connection to their own life. This is where they got the points for higher level thinking. I had tried lying to someone before, but I almost got caught, so I would never try and lie again. So this person addressed two questions, showed higher level thinking, and gave examples from their text to show and to prove that. This one was another really well done one. I have two more. I'll do the shorter one since this video is getting a little bit longer. I love this one though. They say, I am answering question 1 and 5. They answer the questions really well. They give examples. This one's a really great example. This one here, I'm looking for an answer to 2 questions and 2 examples. The character has taught me the most is Elin. I learned that I should not give up on trying something that people say is impossible. All right, so they told me what they learned, but they go further and explain their thinking. I have learned that because Elin never gave up on trying to communicate and befriend Leland, even though no one has ever accomplished communicating with the royal beast. Even after Elin got hurt on page 186, she did not let them stop her from befriending Elin. So this person gave me their thoughts, explained their thoughts, gave an example that supported their thoughts. Really well done. I'll do one of these ones for you. Question 5. This is the advice one. They're still reading the book, The Long Walk by Ray Garrity. In question 5, if I were able to give advice to the main character in my book, it would be to do your research. In chapter 10, page 246, Garrity says, if only I had realized the danger of this race. So they answered the question and gave me their example, okay? But I can't give them full points for higher level thinking yet. So far, this is pretty basic thinkings, okay? Then they go into their explanation, and this is where I can give them full points. This tells me that Garrity didn't look into the details of this race. If I were able to tell him the dangers, he wouldn't have joined. Okay, they're just guessing this. This would have also caused him to tell his friends not to join the race either, since he didn't want them to also get hurt. This would make a very large amount of citizens safe, since they wouldn't have the experience the dangers of this race. This advice would also be helpful in the real world. Ooh, gosh, higher level thinking, real world connection to people who serve this country. This advice would help people to look into mental aspects of war. This might make some people, not all, change their mind about serving. I hope that helps you to know how to redo your written response so that you guys can get full points on answering 2 questions and giving supporting examples from your text on those same 2 questions.